this is Ask Brock. I'm Brock Yorty. This week's question comes from Mike. Brock, what is an acceptable mud way to finish a water well? If I pull back to my roots of my fluids training down in Houston, Texas with the men and women at IDP, we always say as low as possible. What does that mean? So if we start thinking about as we're drilling this hole, and we started with a drilling fluid that is 97-98% water and had a mud weight of 8.45 when we started, water being 8.34, and we start incorporating drill solids, where do we start seeing issues? Where do we start seeing breakdown and whatnot? When we start getting beyond 9 pounds. But that's not even the right answer. We have that fluids package and we have that bit, and we have either our mud pan or our pit or our solids control unit. We need to be separating those solids out, because when we hit that porosity zone, the path of least resistance is going to be whoever has the more energy. If it's the hydraulic head coming up with the water coming through when we punch through that confining layer, or is it the mud weight, that density, that percent solids that's going to push that water down and out and start blocking off that porosity zones. Remember, porosity, porsos, is the Greek word for pathways. We're blocking the pathways. So let's look at it. When we get to 9 pounds per gallon, we're about 5% solids. When we hit 9.5 pounds per gallon, we're almost 10% solids. It's like 9.6% solids. It's unacceptable. And when we're at that point, it's going to be very easy to start blocking off and blinding that zone. You think about the movies you watch, or you talk to the oil field, they drill with weighted fluids to hold in that energy from being able to come up and out and give us a kick. And that's the same thing that's happening here. So my rule of thumb starts with, I don't want to go beyond 8.8 pounds per gallon. And I know I just said, you know what, 9, you're probably only about 5%. But here's the deal. When we hit 8.8 pounds per gallon, that's when the bell goes off and we go, hey, we need to do something. We need to allow our cones to take out more fine solids. We got to shovel more. We need to dump some drilling fluid, or we need to allow our solids control unit the time to catch up and get out all those solids that we're recirculating. And we're doing this all at 300 gallons a minute. So depending on the volume of your system, that's all being recirculated on top of that. And we're breaking those solids down into finer and finer pieces until they're entrained. So we can't drill with a 10% solids drilling fluid into a porosity zone and expect that it's going to be easy for us to develop that back out. So we say 8.8 because before we blink, it'll be 9 or 9.2 or 9.5. And then we're going to be breaking it back again. And this idea that we can just use water as dilution, or we can use thinners, where are those entrained solids going, those dense solids? They're going down. They're going down and out into that zone. It's not like we have enough velocity to be able to bring them up and out. So that's the importance of when we get into a solids-laden drilling fluid and what's going to happen with that development. Then you think about it, sure, we got the hole in, it was a little hard, we had some buoyancy issues, we got our screen, casing, we got gravel packed, we got grouted, and then we start that development phase. And how far did we push those solids out there? You know, somewhere between 3 and 6 inches is about as good as our hydraulic energy is going to get with standard, development practices. If it's from jetting or surging and swabbing, or air or reverse air, there's multiple ways we can do it, and we have to use a lot of them to be able to get that damage and open up those pathways again. But we have to think about, if we don't do that damage, how much more yield and capacity would we have? How much easier would it be to develop this well out? And that's what it really comes down to, is the least amount of solids possible going into that porosity zone. Is now all of that time that we use for development is for bringing the fine solids that Mother Nature had down there and opening those pathways and giving us the best possible yield possible. It's a great question. Good luck.